this, you can use dynamic compression to EQ pops. You can actually have it compress low
Can
in.
you hear the organ mics on? He's taking the thing apart, so alright. Thanks.
You can make it compress just the low end. Like if you have someone who's constantly popping the mic,
Right.
you get those pops. You can insert this on a channel, and then you find your low trim and your high trim, and you're going to EQ it out. This you're going to have to experiment with, because I don't use it because it uses up a whole effect. But if you have a lavalier that someone's constantly, you're always getting that popping sound, you can actually compress just that low popping sound instead of the whole mic. Because what I do is I normally compress the whole microphone, so when you hear that pop, it kills it. You know, it just takes it, instead of it going, it just goes, just a little tiny little. And I do that with real hard compression. But with a multi-band compressor, you can actually just compress that low-end frequency to where the pop goes away. And you can also use it as a de-esser by compressing the high end. And you just start selecting the frequency, playing around with your frequencies here, until you find out where that frequency is that you want it to compress. And it'll compress like just your S's, but it can also compress if you have like a guitar that has this real, when he goes into lead, he's got this real brittle tune to him. Well, you could set it to where he's on rhythm and it doesn't hit the compressor, but when he goes into his lead, it kind of compresses that real harsh tone out. Or like a bass, if the guy likes to slap a lot, you want to keep the bass nice and bright, but you want those pops to kind of calm down a little bit. Find that frequency where the bass is really popping hard, and you can just compress that frequency. And that's all done with this multi-band compressor. So experiment with that. You know, it'll take some getting used to. You just got to play with it. Grab a microphone and go hit it until EQ it until you get rid of that, or play with the compressor until you get rid of that, and you'll start to learn how all these different things work. And then you've got all kinds of other effects that are just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. You've got modulators and pitch changers. Modulators will actually take your original note, where you've got an A, and it'll actually take your note and modulate your note above and below it. So it's kind of, oops. It'll eventually shut off if that's an iPhone.
No,
yeah, someone's trying to call you.
Yeah, no, he just sent me a text. I'm just trying to,
there you go. With the modulate filter, what it does is it takes a pitch and modulates a pitch up and down. So you've got your which is kind of like a Leslie effect, but not really. I mean, it's kind of a cornball effect, but it can be cool on choirs. It can be cool on some other stuff. So a great thing for choir is finding a doubler. And Yamahas are great on these doublers. Let's see, your dual pitch. This is great to insert on your choir, because what you've got is you've got two pitches. It'll actually, you could take your original note, and with this it's giving you octave below. If you set this up to 0, and your fine pitch about 8, and then take the level full, and then pitch 2, we're going to set to 0, and a little bit, see, you're a little bit below the frequency there, a little bit above the frequency here, and then your level 2, you're going to bring it in, and you pan them left and right. No delay. That gets messy. Feedback off. Now what you have is when a person is singing, it'll actually give 3 tones, so it sounds like 3 people are singing, but the pitch is just barely off. So it just kind of fattens the voice sound, but that is great on choir mics. Fantastic on choir mics, because it'll make a 100 voice choir sound like a 300 voice choir.
So that can add up to the whole. Wow.
Well, what you can do is take your choir and run all your channels into that, and then run that back to one of your effects returns. Okay. And then when you want to fatten up the choir, just push in that effect a little bit more. And what it's doing is adding just a little bit. It's adding 2 more voices to every voice, and it's just a little bit off pitch. I mean, not enough to where it's out of tune, but just like two voices singing. You know, two voices never are perfectly on pitch with each other. It's kind of like a piano. Pianos have 3 strings. Well, you never tune those 3 strings perfectly together. They're always just a touch off. And that's how a piano note sounds so rich, is because there's actually 3 strings playing the same note. What's the same with this pitch unit? It makes a voice sound more like a piano string, where it's a little richer, a little fatter, and that's a very popular studio trick to make things fatten up. But if you have an effect channel that you can kill, I mean that you're not using, that's a great one for choirs. Great one for soloists. Great for saxophones or trumpets, something you kind of want to fatten up a little bit, kind of take some of the thinness out of it.
Okay.
It's a cool effect. Mess with that one. It's also cool if you take it and pitch all the way down a whole octave, like on bass. You put an octave below on your bass and you put that in, and you've got this big, deep sound on your bass, because it's giving you an octave below whatever he's playing. Now, you've already got a bass player that's got a 7 string, so he's already playing some low Bs.
Right.
You put an octave below that, and it's just going to get thick. I mean, it is just gorgeous on bass.
Okay.
So, there you go. There's a start for you.